us here, and his family is here with us today too, not just in the audience, but one of the members of his family is actually taking part in one of the acts too. He is a linguist, fluent in 3 languages from India, and about 6 that I counted last from overseas, including Mandarin and French Creole. And of course, he is a diplomat. He represents our home country here in Sydney, and as such forms the link between us and the country we all come from, or most of us come from. Most of all, he is a person who has engaged widely with the Indian community in the last 4 odd months that he has been here in Sydney. And that can only bode well for our links with India. I acknowledge the presence of the Consul General of India, Mr. Sujan Chinoy, and his wife Vidya, and we welcome them here today. Thank you. Could I now invite Mr. Chinoy to come up and say a few words and address this gathering? Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek, for those very kind and generous words. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good evening, namaste. It gives me great pleasure, and indeed it's a great privilege for me to be with you all this evening at this wonderful program organized by the Indian Children's Fund. It's been a delightful evening with wonderful song, dance, and humorous skits. Indeed, it's been a riot of color. And I think it would only be appropriate if I were to, on behalf of all of you, congratulate and commend the organizers of the Indian Children's Fund for their outstanding endeavors and efforts at putting together this spectacular evening. I'd also like to congratulate all those boys and girls, nay, I must add adults as well, who were up here on stage performing, for their commitment, their passion, the enthusiasm with which they put together this wonderful show. And not the least, I'd like to congratulate each one of you for coming out this evening to support a very noble cause, the cause of supporting others that are less privileged than we are. Ladies and gentlemen, as I sat there with you enjoying the wonderful performances, it occurred to me that there were 3 important messages. The first one is that as we face a fast shrinking world, as we live in a global village, it is inevitable that cultures will overlap, that people will move from one country to another, and that children will be raised in alien environments. And it is extremely important that just as we look at our destinations, we must also make future generations aware of their origins. The second important message for me is that as we raise our children, as we raise the youth in different environments, particularly in this glorious and magnificent country, Australia, it is important that they learn to accept their origins and their traditions and customs in an open-hearted manner, without contradictions. This will only make them better citizens. It will only make the task of integration and assimilation much easier. It will thus contribute to to multiculturalism in this great country, Australia. Lastly, I think the most important message is the title itself, Socho To. Imagine, think, ponder. When we lead our prosperous and comfortable and privileged lives, when our children lead prosperous, comfortable and privileged lives, it is important to take some time out and to ponder over the need to think of those, not just in India, but all over the world, who do not necessarily have such privileges. And I think this evening's contribution is immense to that particular end. Ladies and gentlemen, my last thought for the evening is that India is rapidly progressing. Its economic development today is second to none. And a full 50% of India's population is below the age of 25. And I am confident, and it is with great hope and expectation, that I say that in the future we will have a prosperous India, and that whereas this is a very noble cause, India may itself be contributing a great deal in this regard to other countries and to other people in greater need. Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure to welcome Rahul Tijoriwala, who, as the youngest participant in all the events today, carries a special meaning for us, to present a bouquet to Mr. Chinoy in appreciation of his presence here.
I'd like to present it on behalf of all of you to the youngest participant.